guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm filming a very exciting video. I have been salivating over the Meet Me at Midnight palette when it was revealed by Lois Cosmetics. So if you want to see a eye look, see some swatches, hear my first impression thoughts, then just keep watching. If you are new to my channel, if this is your first time, welcome. My name is KARENHARRIS. I like to film tan girl friendly makeup videos here on my channel. Today's video is a bonus video, so I'm planning on filming, uploading, and editing all in one day. If you like seeing new makeup releases, if you like seeing swatches, if you like tan girl friendly makeup, then this is the place for you. Highly recommend subscribing because I try to post pretty much every day, sometimes a little less than every day, sometimes a little more every day. Subscribe, hit that notification bell, and without further blabbering, let's get into it. Okay, so if you haven't watched my 2021 eyeshadow palette ranking video, that went up last month. I'll link it up here for you guys to check out. But Meet Me in the Underworld, I think, was in my top 20. So I really enjoyed this palette last year. I was a little bit late to the party because I got this quite a few months after it had originally launched. But so many people in the beauty community were so impressed with this palette, as was I once I got a hold of it. So I do believe they are doing a restock of this one, but once they started teasing the Meet Me at Midnight palette, I got so excited. So this is what the palette looks like, and then this is the back, and then on the back here it says 16 shade eyeshadow palette. The ingredients are on here, and it says that this is distributed and designed by Lois Cosmetics, manufactured in the PRC. Net weight is 16 shadows times 2 grams or 0.07 ounces with a 12-month shelf life, and this formula is vegan. So super duper cute. I love when brands make like uniformed palettes like this. I love it when they're the same size. It's just very aesthetically pleasing to me. I know that's not like everyone's thing, and sometimes brands do different size palettes for the same line, but I like it when they're the same size. So this is what the inside of the palette looks like. It's so beautiful. I'm so excited to play with it, and I'm gonna go ahead and insert swatches right here. The shade names are Phase, New Day, Tonight, which is that beautiful electric blue, Inky, Illuminated, Half Moon, Nocturnal, Ambiguous, Guided, Mysterious, Witching Hour, Nightfall, Disturbed, Blood Moon, Same Stars, and Midnight. I will say the shade Same Stars, I didn't put that on my eyes, but it kind of reminds me of the metallic formula in the Meet Me in the Underworld palette. So this definitely swatch really beautiful. The metallics are gorgeous. I will say though, some of these metallics definitely swatch way prettier than the two metallics I used on my eye look today. So I feel like I definitely need to try out all the shades on this palette before I make up my mind about it. But I feel like I have this like preconceived notion in my head of how I expected this palette to perform based on the Meet Me in the Underworld palette. I hope that makes sense to you guys. Okay, so I did do most of my face makeup because we actually went to the farmer's market in our town earlier today. It was indoors, don't worry. It's not nice out yet in Fargo. We're still freezing over here, but anyways, we do have dinner plans this evening, so I'm gonna go ahead and do both my eyes the same. There's some really pretty berry shades in this palette. There's also some blues and greens, so you can definitely take this eye look a few different ways. I'm trying to think what my last eye look was. I feel like I did a lot of blue looks because I was playing with the Lethal Night Flower collection, and it kind of has like those blue purpley shades. So I think I'm gonna actually use these shades right here for today's look. So let's see how it goes. I'm grabbing a Sigma brush and I'm gonna go into this shade called Phase, which is a really pretty light lilac color. Okay, next I'm gonna go into this berry shade called Mysterious. It's like a really pretty burgundy purpley kind of color. And I'm gonna place that on the outer corner. Okay, so now I'm going to go in on the lids. I think I'm going to use this shade called Witching Hour, which is like a really pretty purple shade. So I'm grabbing a flat Sigma brush, picking it up with the brush, and I'm going to spray it. Okay, so there's a bit of fallout, and I will say that for some reason that shade Phase that I started with the purple, it's turned completely like gray, and I didn't even touch it with this metallic shade, so I'm not really sure why that's happening. I'm just grabbing this brush from Blend Bunny, gonna go back into the shade, and I'm just gonna add some more of it, but it's really funny how it's like not playing with that metallic shadow, because like look at the difference. Can you see there's definitely a difference in the colors from one side to the other side? And I don't know, this formula doesn't feel as good as the formula from the Meet Me in the Underworld palette, which I think is why a lot of people were so hyped for the Meet Me at Midnight. So I'm very surprised. It's a little different. So for my lower lash line, I'm using the ColourPop Cream Gel Liner in the shade Visuals. And I'm just gonna line the water line with this. And I'm just gonna use this Blend Bunny brush, and I'm gonna go into the shade Phase again. And we're just gonna blend it on the lower lash line. And then I'm gonna go into the shade Mysterious. And I'm just gonna throw that on the lower lash line. Okay, now I'm just turning my lower lash line into like koala eyes, so I better stop. I better stop before it gets too wild. I want to use a lethal gel liner just to kind of give myself a little wing, just to make this look a little bit more interesting. Okay, friends, so here is the finished look. I also threw on this lip color. This is new from Profusion. It's the Perfect Pout Soft Matte Lip Tint in the shade Confident. It's a like coral shade, and so far it feels really comfortable. It's not fully opaque, but I think for the spring and summer, this might be a fun lip at the drugstore if you guys are looking into it. Everything else on my face is just the usual stuff I've been wearing, like my Physicians Formula bronzer. I'm also wearing the Makeup Forever HD Skin, which I rated as my least favorite foundation that I've tried recently. I did say the color was my biggest problem in that video, so I did go ahead and exchange it for the shade 3 in 4-2, and I think this is a way better shade match for me. So I really like that. I finally tried out one of my Profusion blushes. This is in the shade Mai Tai. Super pretty, like peachy shade if you guys are in the market for a liquid drugstore blush formula. So that is everything that's on my face. So now let's talk about the Meet Me at Midnight palette. I do want to go ahead and compare this to the Shroud Cosmetics Arcana palette. I actually bought this one with my own money when I bought the It's Freaking Bats palette as well on a restock. When they showed this palette originally, a lot of people were comparing it to the Arcana, and I do see quite a bit of similarity, but I'm trying to think of what shades I should swatch. So there is a shade called Chalice in the Arcana palette, which is like a really pretty dirty gold shade, and there's a shade called Same Stars in the Lois palette. So I'm just swatching them next to each other. This is the Arcana palette swatch, and then this is the Lois swatch. You see there is a difference in tone in these shades. The one in Lois swatches more bronzy, whereas the one in the Arcana swatches more yellow. There's also a blue shade called Shroud in the Arcana, and then the blue shade in the Meet Me at Midnight palette is called Disturb. They're different tones. So let me just swatch them side by side. So there's like a similar vibe, but I don't think there's any like exact shade dupes, but I figured I'd just swatch anyway. And then the matte green in the Shroud palette is called Darkling, and the green in the Lois palette is called Nocturnal. As you can see, one is more of a dirty grungy green and the other one's more of a teal shade. So actually these two shades are very similar from This one's from the Shroud palette and this one's from the Lois palette. And then we have a shade called Familiar in the Shroud palette and a shade called Guided in the Lois palette that look kind of similar. So this is Arcana. And the shade from the Lois palette looks a lot more pink. Okay, and then there's another one here that looks kind of similar. There's a shade called Alter in the Shroud palette and a shade called Ambiguous in the Lois palette. So let me swatch that. See, like similar, but the tones are kind of different. And then we have a metallic blue called Mystic in the Shroud palette and a shade called Tonight in the Lois palette. The one in the Lois palette is definitely a brighter blue. Oh, that's such a pretty like electric blue. I love that. And then we have a shade called Nocturnal in the Arcana and a shade called Half Moon, which I actually used in my inner corner. So let's see. Oh yeah, those are two different shades as well. The Arcana one is more of a taupey gray and Half Moon is definitely more of a lilac. So there are some of the shades in the two different palettes. I think that it's very safe to say that there aren't exact dupes really, except maybe the two teals and like similar tones, but I don't see any dupes if I'm being honest with you guys. Okay, so I hope you found those comparisons helpful because I know I'd seen a lot of people compare the two palettes. And personally, I feel like they're different enough where if you own the Shroud Arcana palette, I think you'd be totally fine owning the Lois palette as well because the tones are very, very different. I feel like these grungy shades are so popular, these beautiful like deep jewel tones. So I'm very happy to see that you can actually own both of them without feeling too guilty about it. I do have one other palette that I just want to do like side-by-side comparisons to because I did kind of think of the Give Me Glow Bad Witch Club palette when I was swatching this one, but again, I feel like there's a few more tones in this palette, so you'd be okay to have both. But yeah, I just wanted to quickly compare those two in case you guys already had those palettes and you were wondering about this one. Now, as far as my first impressions go on this palette, I think it's nice. I really like the color story. I definitely feel like I need to play with this some more because I didn't feel like the formula was as easy to work with as the Meet Me in the Underworld palette. I felt like the metallics in this one were incredibly creamy and they just went on the lids so smooth. I felt like there was less of a metallic finish with these ones. So I'm a little bit conflicted because I feel like just based off of initial impression of this palette, I do like the formula of this one more. So you guys will have to let me know if you have this palette and you bought this one and you tried it out. Let me know if you guys felt like there was a difference or, you know, it could be just me. I have no clue. I definitely need to try this palette out some more. For now though, it's just okay. It's definitely not like an immediate favorite where I'm like telling you guys to go run out and buy it. Sometimes that does happen. I'll try a palette for the first time and it totally knocks my socks off, but for now it's a, I would say probably like a 5 out of 10 for me on that palette, but we'll see. We'll try it out some more. I'll keep you guys posted. Let me know your thoughts on this palette down in the comments. You guys know I love chatting to you down there, and I will see you in a new makeup releases video on Monday. So make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're coming back to my channel on Monday so we can chat about some new makeup releases. Thank you guys for watching, and I hope you guys are having a great day. Bye!